Welcome to this comprehensive tutorial on leveraging our API to retrieve and analyze satellite image data for agricultural fields. Whether you are managing a farm, developing an agricultural platform, or simply interested in the technology behind satellite imaging, this guide will provide you with the knowledge and tools to dynamically access and utilize this data. In this session, we will start by understanding the concept of sense days, which are the specific days when satellite visits occur. Knowing these dates is crucial for obtaining accurate and timely data about your fields. We will explore how to use the getSenseDays endpoint to fetch this information and what parameters you need to pass to get a detailed response, including crop and irrigation red zones and weather conditions. Next, we will dive into the getSARDays endpoint, which becomes essential when the weather is cloudy and traditional satellite data is unavailable. Synthetic aperture radar SAR data can penetrate clouds, providing valuable insights even on overcast days. We will discuss how to implement an algorithm that dynamically switches between regular satellite data and SAR data based on weather conditions. Furthermore, you will learn how to fetch specific satellite images using the getFieldImage endpoint. This includes understanding the types of images available, such as NDVI, and how to request and interpret these images for the crop health and irrigation purposes. We will also cover how to generate detailed PDF reports of satellite visits, allowing you to compile comprehensive data records for your fields. Lastly, we will explore endpoints like getFieldIndexBreakdown and getIndexValue to break down and analyze specific index values over time. By the end of this tutorial, you will be well equipped to integrate these powerful API features into your applications, providing accurate and actionable data to enhance agricultural management and decision-making. Let's get started. Now, we will look into an API endpoint, which gives the sense days. So what does sense days mean? It's like the satellite visit happens every 3 to 5 days. It is based on the location. Once you have submitted a field, you need to know about the days on which the satellite visit happened. Otherwise, you won't be able to get the correct data. So we will check how we will get these sense days today. There is an endpoint in the API, and the endpoint is getSenseDays. We have to use this endpoint, and there are mainly 2 things which we need to pass in: the UID and the field ID for the field which you want to know about the satellite visit. There is a third parameter as well, the polygon ID. It is not mandatory, it's optional, as mentioned in the doc. Once we submit it, we will get a response in this way. It will tell you the sense day and the date in the format of year, month, and day. It will also tell you about crop red zones, irrigation red zones, and if the weather is cloudy or not. So let's hit the end button. Now you can see we got the sense days for this particular field. For example, on the 22nd of May, 2024, the crop red zones, irrigation red zones, and cloud status, cloud is false, are given. Then for the 27th of May, the cloud status is false. For the 1st of June, these are the data points. What does cloudy mean? If the weather is cloudy, if it comes true, it means the normal satellite data for that date is not available. Then we have to switch to a different data type known as SAR data, synthetic aperture radar data. This also comes from satellites but uses microwave sensors that are able to penetrate the clouds. So once you search for sense days and get the status as cloudy, instead of going with the NDVI and NDWI images, we recommend you to go for the RVI and RSM images which we have. In the next section, I will let you know how to get those sense days. Now, we will look towards another endpoint, getSARDays. As I mentioned, when there is cloudy weather, if it's cloudy comes true for a particular field, the satellite data won't be available for that field. Then we have to move towards SAR days, which is synthetic aperture radar data. So what we have to do is fetch the SAR days for that particular field. Suppose you have a platform and you are showing data to your farmers. It will be really helpful if you can dynamically show them the data. Instead of switching between the normal satellite data and radar data manually, you can create an algorithm. When it finds that for a particular day the cloudy weather is true, it can immediately switch to the radar data that is nearby and show that data instead. This will help your end users get the data correctly. Now, we have to use getSAR data instead of getSense data. Only the UID and the field ID need to be passed. Here you can see the SAR data is available for these days for this particular field. In the next video, I will show you how to fetch these index images for this radar data and other data as well. These dates are required to get those particular images, the satellite images for particular indices. Based on the dates, we will have to request a particular index image like NDVI, RVI, RSM. We will see that in the next API endpoint. Now, we will see how we can get the satellite image. There is an endpoint getFieldImage that we have to use. We need to pass a few parameters in the body of the request: UID, field ID, image type, sense date, and color map. The image type will give you the particular image for which you have made the request. Here, the image type is NDVI. As I told you, the first procedure is to check for the sense day. After the sense day, you can get this image. We will use NDVI only if there is no cloudy weather. In sense day, we received a response indicating weather is cloudy is either false or true. If it's false, then for crop health and irrigation, we will go for NDVI. For NDWI and NDMI, if is cloudy comes as true, we have to request the SAR dates using getSenseDays and getSARDays. Then we have to request RVI instead of NDVI for crop health and RSM instead of NDWI for irrigation. This is how it's used. We have to pass the sense date here, the type is mentioned, and now we will click on the send button and see what we get in the response. Yes, we have got the response. It will give you a URL of an image. You have to use this URL, which will be the satellite image of that particular field. This is how you will get the field image. Now, if you want to get the area, suppose you want to know which area comes in how much color-coded segments. For example, an NDVI value of 0.921 is in a certain area. These parameters will be divided, showing all the zones and how much area they cover. If you want to request this image, there is another endpoint known as getFieldIndexBreakdown. We have to use this endpoint. All the other parameters will remain the same: UID, field ID, image type, and sense date. The color map is not required here, so we will remove it. Now, if we click on send, this will also give a URL to that image. That kind of image will be generated here. This is how you can do these kinds of things. Now, we will look into the endpoint, which will give you the PDF report. So, when there is a satellite visit, after the satellite visit, a PDF report is generated. So, the PDF report looks like this. It's a very detailed report which has multiple pages. We will see how we can get this report. There is an endpoint getFieldReport. We have to use that endpoint, and there will be a few things which we need to pass in the body to get that PDF report: UID, field ID, sense report format, language, and polygon ID, not mandatory. Here, report format and language are important. You can set multiple report languages. We will see in another tutorial how we can set particular languages for a report. We will have to pass these two things as well: language and report format. You have to pass PDF in it. We will click on send. Yeah, we have got our response. This is also a URL. You can use this URL to get the report. This is how you can get a report. Now, you'll see how we can get the values of a particular parameter like NDVI, NDWI, NDMI, like how much of values lies in how much of area. Suppose you want to know, I have a field which is of this much of an area. How much area lies in what kind of NDVI values? Suppose the value is 0.1 or 0.5. So, from 0 to 0.1, how much area is covered? From 0.2 to 0.3, how much area is covered? To do that, we have an endpoint. The endpoint, which we will see in the API doc, is getFieldIndexBreakdown. It will give you an object, or you can say an array, which will contain the values. The values will be in this way. The 0th element will be the value of 0 to 0.1. How much area is under 0 to 0.1? The first element will be 0.1 to 0.2, and similarly, the 9th element will be 0.9 to 1.0. So in this way, you will be able to get the values. We will use this endpoint and see the values. Here, we need to pass the UID, field ID, image type, and the sense type for which you want to get the data. You'll click on the send button, and we can see that we have the response. So the 0 is saying that from 0 to 0.1 is in 366 square meters. 0.1 to 0.2 is in 3,473 square meters. So in this way, you will be able to get the values. It's an object which contains NDVI, and there is an array of NDVI from 0 to 1. So in this way, you will be able to get the values. Now, suppose you want to get the value of a particular index on a particular day just for a particular index. Like, what was the value of NDVI that day? NDWI that day? We have another endpoint, getIndexValue. We will use this parameter, getIndexValue here, and we have to pass an image type. Let's use NDWE. Since ST is there, we will have to click on send. Yeah, we have the result. So it's showing that for the 6th of June 2024, the value of NDWI was 27. Now, if you want to get the index value of all the indexes you have, like the parameters NDWI, NDVI, NDMI, for all the dates that are available, there is an endpoint getAllIndexValues. It will take just the UID and the field ID because it will send you the data for all the dates and for all the parameters available for that particular field. So we will remove image type and sense type from the body, and then we'll click on send. As you can see, we have got the result. Here are the details. For NDVI, for the 22nd of May, the value was 10. For the 27th of May, the value was 10. So in this way, you will get the values for all other indices like RVI, SAVI. So for all the indices and for all the dates, the values are in this way. You'll get this object here so you can use it. Congratulations! You've now learned how to utilize several critical API endpoints to retrieve and analyze satellite and radar data for agricultural fields. You can dynamically switch between different data types based on weather conditions, fetch specific satellite images, and obtain detailed reports and index values. This powerful functionality enables you to provide accurate and up-to-date information to end users, enhancing decision-making and operational efficiency in agricultural management. Stay tuned for more tutorials where we dive deeper into other advanced features of our API. Happy coding! See you in the next tutorial! Thanks for watching!